What's going on, good people? I'm JK, and we just joined. Let's go ahead and get into it.
And I am so tired of people trying to remind me that I used to be a slave. Ma'am, I was born in 1996. The closest I've ever come to slavery or Jim Crow was working a 9 to 5. One time I was forced to work off the clock. That was the closest I've ever come to slavery, okay? I can't even believe that at one point in time, I listened to y'all telling me that if I voted for Trump, that he was going to send me back to slavery. I can't believe that I thought like that. I just listened to y'all. I don't know what it's like to be a slave, okay? And for you to even assume that I come from slavery is insane. Do you assume that white people come from slavery, that Hispanics come from slavery? You understand that black people weren't the only people enslaved, right?
Okay, man, this lady told absolutely no lies in this video. And that's one thing that doggone chaps my butt too. When I hear modern day black people always trying to talk and act like we are still living during slavery. That's exactly why I see stuff like that, like these situations that she just described, is exactly why at the end of these videos I post that famous quote by Booker T. Washington about how within the black community there are always going to be those people who play that victim card, because victimhood, it is big money. It is literally a multi-billion-dollar industry. And the more modern term they have for it is race hustling. Always pulling up slavery, always pulling up Jim Crow to try to make black people think that we are still living under those exact same situations. Now, don't get me wrong. Okay, I am not deluded, nor am I out of my mind. Does prejudice still exist? Absolutely. And prejudice will continue to exist on this planet until Jesus Christ himself comes back. And as he said in his own words, set these things back in order. Okay. Or in other words, get all these evil, unclean spirits and devils who are really the ones behind prejudice and even slavery. Okay. Until he wipes them out of here and sends them all to the lake of fire. All right. Until that moment, yes, prejudice will exist. However, any black person that wants to make the claim that we, as blacks specifically living in the United States, are not living in the best times for black people, okay, they're just a flat out liar. The fact that we can sit here, the fact that she can sit here and even have these open conversations about these things show right there, it destroys that whole narrative, okay? Do y'all know what would have happened to any slave, or even after slavery was legally abolished, what would even happen to a freed slave, especially here in my home state of South Carolina during that time, if they had stood on some public square openly talking against or disparaging white people? Man, please, that I tell you what, that bloodline would have ended right then and there. So no, we are not still living under slavery conditions. We're not still living under Jim Crow conditions. Anybody who wants to or anybody wants to make that claim or says that, okay, they're a hustler, they're a liar, they're a con man, they're a con woman. The facts just do not line up with that. So again, ma'am, I'm right there with you. Y'all miss me with that mess. If I don't feel like I'm oppressed, if I don't feel like I'm still a slave, then nobody else on this doggone planet, sure enough, ain't going to come and try to or convince me otherwise. So, yeah, that's where we're at with that one. Next.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Things That If a Man Said Out Loud, he'd be labeled a sexist, misogynist, or hateful. But me, a female, I'm going to say it for you. And I always ruffle some lashes when I say this, but feminism is demonic. Modern-day feminism not only pulls women away from God's order and original design, but also away from discipline, from accountability, from their family, from true, actual femininity. You don't need a man. You're a queen. You're a boss, babe. You are empowered. Marriage makes you weak. Accountability is oppression. Oh, and the golden one. Masculinity is toxic. They don't want obedience, but they sure like that authority. And modern day feminism just tells them that that's all justified. God gave us specific roles for a reason. We are not called to be like men. We are called to be discerning, to be nurturing, to multiply. And feminism strips all that away and replaces it with ego, pride, victimhood, rebellion. That's not from God. So yes, feminism is demonic. So if that offends you, ladies, maybe the demon that I'm actually talking to is the one that you're entertaining.
Whoa, Nelly. Hey, once again, we got another lady here that's cooking with gas. Absolutely correct. Anything a man can do, you can do too. Well, you know what? Whenever I hear these arguments, the first question I bring up is can men get pregnant and can men carry and birth babies? No? Okay, so then no, we're not equal. Can a woman impregnate a man? Can a woman impregnate another woman? No? Okay, so then we can't do the same thing everybody else can do. And I know the argument some people would bring up with that. No, I'm not talking about the trans community in this. No. Not saying anything disparaging against them specifically with this, but if you were an actual man or an actual woman through biological sex, then you wouldn't have to put that prefix trans in front of the woman or the man, now would you? Exactly. So no, we're not equal, and she's right. And okay, matter of fact, since she brought up God, I'll take it even one step further. If it was equal, then why didn't God create Adam and Eve at the same time and give them both the same set of instructions? He didn't. He created Adam first, and Adam was already out there operating for who knows how long, until he recognized that the animals were pairing up because one was male, one was female, and the scripture says he noticed there wasn't another one like him. And then that's when God said, it's not good for man to be alone. And when Adam was asleep, he took part of his body and he created a female so that Adam and Eve could now go and pair off and pretty much get busy populating this earth, which was, again, a direct commandment from God. So she's absolutely right. We were created separate with separate functions that we're supposed to play out as far as the human race goes. Is to say one's better than the other? Well, that's only for God to decide because God's the one who created us. Okay. But we have seen the evidence and we've seen the fact that when they don't play their roles the way they're supposed to, well, then that's when we end up with all types of problems in societies and in cultures. So saying all that to say, men, embrace your masculinity. Do not let anyone call your masculinity toxic. Okay? There's nothing toxic about our masculinity. Masculinity is why the human race is still here right now, this 15th day of December, 2025. Okay? Man played a huge role in that, but women also played their role in it too. But the point is, they played their roles to get us to this point. So, as the old saying used to go, know your role. Next.
We got to talk about this hood rat, Jasmine Crockett. And before you get offended because I called her a hood rat, Jasmine Crockett wants to be called a hood rat because she went to the greatest schools, the most prestigious schools, and she still chooses to act like a hood rat, which you should be offended by. Now, why would you want a Black woman leading a conservative state when the Black community is in shambles? They are the leaders of the household. And look at the community. They won't even be accountable for the trash that they're breeding. And I know you're going to say Jasmine Crockett doesn't have any children. And that right there is the point. She doesn't have any children. So she doesn't care about the toxic policies that she pushed that messes with the family structure. She doesn't care about that because it doesn't affect her. And like I said, she comes from a very prestigious background, and she knows that in order to be successful in this country, you have to work hard, not because you're Black, but because you're American. She knows that, but she still chooses to tell you that it is a funding issue or it is the government that is stopping you. She is a liar. And she's one of the reasons that Black people stay mentally oppressed. And the reason is because she profits from it. She makes money off of this messaging.
Okay, y'all see what I was saying a few minutes ago about people in the community being race hustlers? Jasmine Crockett is a shining example of this. My personal opinion, I think she's a psyop, a plant put there to spew all this ridiculous nonsense by the ultra liberals within the Democratic Party. But yeah, she's absolutely right.
Not because she cares. She doesn't care about Black people. And if you can't see through that fake ghetto persona, you, my friend, have already lost.
Wow, wow. Again, no lies were told. Not a single one. Y'all know what? We are living in, as far as being able to gain information and knowledge, we are living in one of the most pristine times for that. And it literally only takes a few clicks on your keyboard to really research these things. And with the race hustlers out there, like your Jasmine Crockett's, among many others, what they always don't tell you about this narrative when it comes to this whole trying to play Blacks against whites and anybody else, they always want to start from the slave ships crossing the Atlantic and landing here in what came to be known as the United States, or landing in the Caribbean. But they always want to seem to omit the part where there were African tribes who helped to facilitate and willingly participated into selling other Africans into this slave trade. Yeah, they always leave that part out. Well, truth be told, whether they leave it out or not, it is up to us individually to go digging in a bit deeper to find the truth of the matter, and you will find things out like that. And again, I'm not saying that every person is not prejudiced. Prejudice, and I hate using that word racism because all humans are one race, but for the sake of argument, prejudice, racism, bigotry, all these things, these are demonic, devilish spirits, y'all. And it's actually learned behavior if you choose to accept that unclean message that these devils and these spirits are trying to impart into you, just like any other unclean, sinful thing. Nobody is born racist. Nobody is born prejudiced. It is learned behavior. Not only learned, but it's learned and accepted behavior if you choose to move that way. And she's absolutely right. When you go digging into Jasmine Crockett's background, just like your Kamala Harris's and many others, people who come from good socioeconomic backgrounds, people who attended prestigious universities, and I can guarantee doggone to you that they didn't talk and act the way Jasmine Crockett does while they were attending these universities. More than likely, probably not even in their own homes they grew up in. But they play that role to connect with the told myself I was going to try to be a little nice with these, the ignorant or the not so informed elements within the Black community who promote and who accept and who operate in that ratchet, what's come to be known as ghetto behavior. And even using the term ghetto isn't factually correct because, man, I've lived in a couple of hoods. There's many good, decent people there. Let's just call it just ratchet behavior, just like Carmen said. And anybody who's not familiar with who this lady is, her name is Carmen JC, puts out fantastic content. I'm going to make sure to put a hashtag to her in the video description so you can go and check out more of her content. And she's another one out here who, look, just because she's black, she's like, I'm not participating in the ratchet behavior. I'm not making any excuses for the ratchet behavior. I'm not going to sit here and be labeled with the ratchet behavior. And I'm not going to play the part just so you can have some people come in and try to act like, you know, they need to be our saviors for the poor, dumb, lower class, stupid black people. No, it's a new day. We ain't playing them doggone games. So she's absolutely right. Look for these deceitful people. Look for these people putting on these false images just to try to curry favor, and especially in Jasmine Crockett's situation, try to curry votes for themselves just to play the part, because people like that are dangerous. They are the literal definition of being two-faced, and you cannot ever trust nor follow a two-faced person, no matter who they are. All right. Next.
Kirk a racist? My direct answer is no, he wasn't. There are black folks who would be rolling over in their graves if they thought about what blacks currently today call racism.
Wow. Exactly what we were just talking about a few minutes ago. And what this gentleman said, this is the exact same conversation that I find myself having, you know, almost scarily so, with a lot of black people today. Again, especially the ones who always want to pull the racism card, who always want to pull the Jim Crow card. Y'all know why they always result to those two specific periods? Because most things after that, they have no card to play. Because again, by those times, things were getting better and better and better for blacks in this country. That's why they always have to resort to playing the whole slavery and the whole Jim Crow era card, because y'all got nothing after that. You have absolutely nothing. And as this gentleman is saying, when it comes to us modern day black people, we can't even play those cards because we never experienced those situations. We never experienced those periods. Now, yeah, we may have relatives. I mean, hey, you know, I have a relative, again, growing up here in South Carolina. My dad and older aunts and uncles and older grandparents. Oh, yeah. And just other older people around the community. Oh, yes, they lived through Jim Crow. They remember the white onlys and the colored onlys. They went through that. They experienced it firsthand. And just by them telling me these stories, that I still cannot say in all honesty that, oh, yeah, I understand exactly what you mean. Or, man, yeah, I feel you. No, I don't. Because by the time I came around, we just had water fountains. We just had restaurants. We just had bathrooms. There was no color identifier to them. And I grew up playing and associating with white kids, went to school with them, lived around them, even got white relatives. So no, I don't know about that. And neither does, and I'm a few years shy of 50. So if I don't know about it, it really chaps my doggone butt when I hear some 18 or 20-year-old black kid out here all over God's internet sitting here talking about doggone racism and oppression and all these things. You have no freaking clue what real oppression, what real bigotry, what real segregation looks like. And the reason why we know this is because you have some in that age range and a little bit older who are now calling for segregation, now looking to do a doggone 360 right back to where their ancestors who did go through those things fought, prayed, worked, protested their way out of, so that we didn't have to experience those things. And you have these little ignorant calling to go back into it, all under the prompting of usually, no, let's just call them, it's not usually, it's always These ultra liberal people, and more specifically, these ultra liberal white people who are truly the real bigots, who are truly the ones who are really prejudiced, the ones who try to tell us, oh, math is racist, reading is racist, working is racist, everything is racist. Critical race theory, all this other lies and foolishness and untrue mess. Those are the real enemies. Okay. Malcolm X, he tried to warn the black community. He tried to warn us about them. And y'all know what that old saying is: if you do not learn history, you are destined to repeat it. And speaking of history, what's one of these other ultra liberals' tactics? To erase or change history so that we can't find out about these things. So, yeah, this gentleman is absolutely right. What they call racist, man, y'all got no doggone clue. You got none, which is good. That was the whole point. We shouldn't have a clue. We shouldn't be living through it, and we got darn well shouldn't be trying to roll the clock back to experience it. There's a saying: careful what you say, and more importantly, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
There are blacks who dealt with Jim Crow. There are blacks who dealt with slavery.
Yeah.
That was real racism.
Yes.
Those black people would be rolling over in their graves to hear the nonsense today that people are calling racist or racism.
Absolutely.
When you use the term racist toward facts and questions, it diminishes the impact of the term. Being black does not leave you exempt from criticism, opinions, or someone just not liking you. If someone says black fathers aren't in the home as they should be, it's not racist if it's true. Same for our high crime rates. And it is typically said in an effort to bring awareness and in hopes that if we say it enough, maybe a culture shift will happen. Because while taking accountability is hard, due to the fact that it is an acceptance of the fact that you are contributing to your own suffering, it also teaches you that if you can cause this much damage, you can contribute just as much to your success.
Wow. Absolutely. Absolutely. Very good, young lady. And again, my man said it all. Yeah, it's statistically known that there are a lot of black fathers absent from the homes. That's a statistical fact. So I'm not understanding how you call it racism. You know what else is a statistical fact that a lot of people don't want to admit? A lot of times that is the fault of the mother of those children, because they just got to have the bad boy. The one who doesn't care about working, the one who's out there purposely breaking the laws and committing crimes. Ooh, that just gets them all tingly and excited all over. If this man doesn't have enough wherewithal to care about his own safety or laws, what makes you think he gives a rat's behind about this child that he either willingly created with you or did it by accident? He doesn't care about himself. What is he going to care about them? And within the black community, it's become so acceptable through TV shows, through movies, and especially through the music, to glorify these things, to make them seem cool and acceptable. All the time, not knowing that once again, a darn psyop was being played on us. And once I realized this, especially about the music, I'm like, man, look, may sound good, may was hitting back in the day, but I'm not listening to and supporting and contributing to that stuff no more, because I know what it was birthed out of. What other ethnic group of people on this planet makes music that glorifies drug dealing, stealing, going out there and producing illegitimate children? Okay, murdering people just indiscriminately. What other ethnic group or culture produces music like this? And even if they do, Guess what genre of music they do it under? Rap, hip hop, started by black people. So no, not everything is racism. Some people don't like you, they just don't doggone like you. And okay, darn y'all, Jesus wasn't liked. To this day, he's still largely not liked. God is largely not liked. So if people don't like the doggone creator slash savior of the universe and mankind, who the heck are you that everybody is supposed to like you or everybody has to like you? It's ridiculous. Grow up. That is just life. Everybody is not going to like you. A lot of people who even make the claim to like and love you, a lot of times secretly, they don't. It's life. It's facts. And I would put it this way. If you know or if you believe that somebody really is racist or prejudiced against you, why would you try to force yourself into that person's atmosphere or surroundings? Other than just trying to beat your chest and gain some type of validation. That doesn't even make sense. Why would you purposely try to force your way into the space of somebody who you believe hates you? Or if you actually have verifiable facts of it, somebody you know hates you. That makes no sense whatsoever. Look, do what you can to get along with people. If people show you respect, respect them back. Because respect is not given, it's earned. Somebody does something honorable for you, hey, then give them honor. Somebody does something pleasant for you, learn to say thank you. And if you do something for somebody and they thank you, learn to say you're welcome. I mean, y'all, it's basic courtesy. And courtesy, truth, does not have a skin color and is not any ethnic group specific. All right. For all this touting that we like to do for being humans and how we're supposed to be the highest of the living life forms on this planet, as the days go by, as the months go by, as the years go by, I'm sitting there scratching my chin like, is that really true? Because honest to God, I can look at any group of animals and be like, yeah, they're more in alignment with God, nature, the universe than almost any huge group of humans that you put together. So y'all, bottom line, we just all have to seek to do better. All right. All right, good people. I do believe that is enough John on for one night. Remember, if you would, to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. Y'all stay safe out there. Again, try to remember to do better by other people. And God willing, we will see y'all again when we see you. Peace.